Hi folks, and welcome to this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. Today I've got a little bit something different I'm working on that's not a boat, but it's my car. I got a 2011 Impala that I parked out in my lean-to for 2 months, and guess what? The mice chewed up the wiring in the rear end. The tail lights quit working, the anti-lock brake system was not working in the rear end. I had to get underneath there and discover what was going on, and found out that mice had chewed all the wires through. Let me show you what happened. So as you can see here, I've got the bumper off, I've got the tail lights out. These cars actually come apart relatively easily. I'll show you real quickly some of the stuff that it's easy to take apart. This is like the inner trunk liner piece here. There's just a couple of small screws that hold it in place on either side here. That's it. And then on the bumper itself, there's these long screws here that have nuts on them. There's 4 of those, and then there's some ones that are hard to get to are up underneath the fender here. You got to take your mud flap loose here, and then one more bolt on the bottom here. And then there's these little clips that just push into place to lock the bottom in. Once you pull all that out, it comes out real easy. The ones that are hard to get to, let's see if you can see them in here. There's one right there, and then there's one that's way up under here, but you got to get at it from the bottom side. So you have to go in through your fender well there to get that one. Over here is the same thing. You can see that one hole right there. You can get at, and then there's one from the bottom side that's a little easier to get at underneath there with a wrench. But there, as you can see, I've just got all the liners tore out. They even got a line here that goes through here out to, I'm not sure what it does, but it's out by the gas filler. But your tail lights come out pretty easy. Just a couple quick little knobs through here, and what do you want to call them? They're like a nut, like this guy here. That type of, or this one here. There's another style that was in there. That was holding the plastic piece in. There's just several different kinds of easy remove. Here's the ones for the tail lights. Found it right here. This is the style that holds the tail light in place. Anyway, very easy to remove all that stuff. That's the easy part, getting the bumper out. And none of it's really difficult. I checked the wiring harness coming out here. As you can see, this one here is where the bumper plugs into. And then there's another one that goes down, as you can see here. Let's go back over here. As you can see here what happened. There's a little plug that goes to the tail light. And the mice absolutely destroyed that wire. Inside here, they actually chewed these clear into. This goes to the other tail light and the harness plug here. You can see what they did in this area right here. This one goes to the license plate. But then there's another one that I discovered with a braking system. See what they chewed that clear in? That is actually chewed clear into. And they chewed it down here. And they chewed on it some there. Anyway, they made a mess out of things. I was able to take the part number off of here, take it to my local Napa store. Whoops, finger in the way. And get me a brand spanking new one. So this harness I got picked up yesterday, they had in stock. The other one for the bumper area, they have to order. Be in next Wednesday. Anyway, the price for parking my vehicle out in my lean-to for 2 months while I drove my other vehicle comes to the tune of about $200 worth of wiring. Now you can get them a little cheaper online. The nice thing I like dealing with my local dealer, local Napa dealer, is because they treat me well, and if I have any issues, they'll help take care of me. So anyway, so we can get busy putting this one in. The new one, it comes with all the new, these are little brackets here that help it fit over. It goes up over the A-arm, lower control arm, and keeps it from getting wear and tear on it that way. A couple other clips that clip it in place. Another one here on the very end by where it goes in from the brakes. So let's get in there and get this thing installed. Should just be a pretty easy plug and play. and we're back up and going again. And then I'll finish up the video when I get my tail light harness in. We'll put the bumper back in and see how that goes. Okay, let me see if I can show you folks what I got done here. As you can see here, that white plug is my new wire. Runs along here across this member and then pops out right here. And then runs down, let's see if I can show you here. Runs down on top of each A-arm here. There's a clip there, you can see part of the wire there. Runs clear on down around here and then plugs in. Let's see if I can get a picture of it here. Plugs in right there. And that's a little bit of a wrestling match because these little clips here, like that clip there, is not designed to fit behind, let's see if I can get a picture of it, not designed to fit behind here. So I had to cut the little bit of tape loose. These little clips will fit, but the other one will not. And I ended up having to cut the tape loose off of these to get them on there and then re-put it back on after I slipped it through there. So that was kind of a pain in the butt. But that's the one wire. As you can see, there's another plug. I don't know if I can get a good picture of it. There's another plug on the other side here. There's an empty plug in the spot where my tail light harness is going to plug into. There, you can see it right there on the back side. There's a little bit of a hole there. That's where my rear harness will plug into. So that was a lot of fun. Took me about 35 minutes of wrestling to get those wires all routed up in there. And my anti-lock brake light's still on. I turned the key on and started the engine, but I think that's because my tail lights and everything are completely unplugged. Don't know if the one has one thing to do with the other. Maybe I have some more wires that are damaged, but we're gonna get the rear end back together. Then I'll get the front end up in the air. I gotta do some shift solenoids in the transmission on that. I'll do a video on that, but that'll hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully the mice only stop back at the back end of the car and didn't chew up anything else underneath inside the car. So inside's fine, but the underbody, we'll see if there's anything else messed up. I can't see anything else yet, but we never know. So we'll get the other wiring harness going, get it in the back in the bumper, slide the bumper back in place, get that wired up, do a test fire to see how things are looking before I button everything up. Stay tuned. All right, it's been a couple days later. I got my other wiring harness in for the rear tail lamp assembly. Before I went crazy and put the bumper all back on and put the harness back in place on the bumper and reassembled everything, I did just go ahead and turn my, put my tail lights back in place, plugged in the wiring harness just to make sure it works before I go through all the trouble of reassembling. Just a good safe practice. So I'll show you that it works. Well, that's good news. Everything seems to work. Tail lights, turn signals, brake lights, that's all back in working order again. Now I can reassemble the rear end of this car and spin it around because it still has some StabiliTrak and some other issues that have gone off. I'm going to disconnect the battery, reset the computer that way, and see if those still come on. It might have been driven because of the disconnecting that happened, so, or the wires being chewed through that might have caused that to happen. To eliminate that as an issue, if that isn't, and it isn't the issue, then I'm gonna have to go back in and then look underneath the rest of the car to see if the mice did me some other disservices. So let's go ahead and put this thing back together. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. As you can see, I've got the car turned around now. We went out and gassed it up, washed it up. I've turned it around. I'm going to do a little bit of transmission work next. We've got some shift solenoids that aren't doing quite what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to do a video on that as well. So stay tuned for that. Got the taillights all working. I still got an ABS light on and a StabiliTrak light that's on. I'm going to check some wires on the front end while I've got this thing up on ramps and while I'm working on the transmission part of it and see if I can determine what's causing that. If not, I'll do a little research and see what's going on. I tell you what, letting a vehicle sit for 2 months in a lean-to, the lean-to is dry, but obviously rodents can get to it. Didn't do my car any favors, so I won't do that again. My cat population is down. I've only got one cat left in the yard, so you know that's not taking care of the mice. I went for years without having any issues with mice or anything because I had about 7 yard cats that kept all the rodents down really well. But that's not the case now. Thank you folks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. If not, I apologize. I just do what I do. You guys get out there and have some fun, enjoy life, and get out there and do some fishing. Only reason I'm doing this kind of work is because it's been raining a lot outside. So I'm getting this done while the rain's coming down and get the fishing done when the sun comes out. Thank you for watching.